Hello my dears, and welcome back to my corner of the internet. I'm Shannon, and today I have another spoiler-free book review to share with you guys. And today we're going to be talking about the forthcoming Stephen Graham Jones novel titled The Buffalo Hunter Hunter. First of all, look at this cover. It is stunning. It is so beautiful. If you've been around my channel for the past, I guess, 2 years, you would know that I am a huge Stephen Graham Jones fan. He has quickly become my favorite author, and there's just something about his books that really get under my skin in the best possible way. I've started now reading through his back catalog or backlist, which I'm so excited. There are so many books I've yet to read, but I've read all of the more recent releases and was very thankful to Simon & Schuster on NetGalley for allowing me yet again a copy of this book. So basically what we have here is a vampire story. Now the book starts off and we're getting the perspective of this woman. She's 43 years old. And her name is Etsy, and she's reading through the log, the journal of her great-great-great-grandfather, a Lutheran pastor. So we get the first little bit from her, and then we move into reading the logs from the pastor. And the format for that goes, we get the pastor's thoughts. And then the next chapter will be the story of a man named Goodstab who has sought out this pastor in particular in his church, and he wants to tell his story, to give his confession, as it were, to all of the, dark deeds that he has done over the years that he has been a vampire. And so it's the back and forth between the pastor sharing his thoughts on what's going on around him and what the vampire has told him. And then towards the end, we circle back to the granddaughter. Now, it's historical fiction. It takes place, well, the granddaughter's time period is I think 2012 or 2013. And then the journals take place in 1912. And so it's historical fiction. It's incredibly difficult to read in that it's gruesome and it's violent and it's awful. But it's so good. When I was up in my room reading it, or our room reading it last night, and I was like, oh my God, I was reading through pages. And my husband was like, you're not enjoying it? I was like, no, I am. And then today when I finished it, I was like, that was incredible. He was like, really? Because based on your reactions while you were reading it, that wasn't what I was expecting you to say. Which is fair. I was like, oh my God. It's gruesome, it's difficult, there are animal deaths, a ton of animal deaths. A lot of them are wild animals, but if that's something that you're sensitive to, because I know that's kind of a thing that people really find difficult. And I do too, but I can just get through it, But if that's a thing you're not wanting to compromise on, then maybe skip this one. But it's basically, if you take the vampire stuff out, if you were to take that out, you would still have a beautiful historical fiction novel about the Blackfeet peoples. And I don't want to say anything, I don't want to get names or words wrong. But the Blackfeet people and the Maria's Massacre of January 23rd, 1870, which was a real massacre that happened. After I finished reading the book, I went online and read up about that massacre. And holy shit, absolutely horrific, which was, that came across in the book, but learning and reading more about it and that it was a real thing that happened is absolutely crazy and devastating and heartbreaking and just gut-wrenching. I don't know if that's something that people who live in the United States know about. Here in Canada, well, first of all, here in Canada, we have our own terrible history with Indigenous and Aboriginal peoples. So, but I hadn't heard about this massacre, and it was quite something to read about. At its heart, this is a story of revenge and identity and family and so many things all rolled into one. It's a complex, layered novel that I think people are going to love. I think people are going to love it. And it's like, I have a hard time ranking Stephen Graham Jones books because they're all so good for me in different ways. So I won't try to rank them, but this was definitely up there, and it was a powerful read. By the end, I was very emotional. There's something else about his books that always get me, and it's the acknowledgement sections at the end. They're long and they read kind of like a short story onto themselves. I'm sure I've said this in every other video I've made about his books, but they make me emotional when I'm reading through them. And I feel like when you're reading them, it's like he's telling you things about himself and you're learning about him, and where the inspiration from certain stories came from. And he's giving, props to the people and other works of art that have inspired him. And it's just so interesting to learn about. So don't skip those. If you read a book, a Stephen Graham Jones book, make sure you read those acknowledgments at the end. It's always worth it. So that's all I'm going to say, because I don't want to say too much, but mark your calendars. Mark your calendars if you love historical fiction, if you love vampire stories, because this is a fresh take on the vampire story. The way the lore of it, the way the world works for these vampires is different than anything else I've ever read. And I love vampire books and movies, so I've read a ton. So it was fresh and it was new and it was so interesting. So there you go, you guys. But again, be forewarned, it's a difficult read because it is difficult subject matter. And just keep that in mind. But if that doesn't put you off of reading a book, then definitely dive in. Like I said, March 25th, I'm pretty sure. But again, I'll put that date down in the description box. And that will do it for me for today. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a like, subscribe. I forgot the things we're supposed to say. Give it a like and subscribe. That helps me a ton. And I will see you again very soon. Bye.